Well, not so thrilled. I don't know what the heck is wrong with this microphone. I tested it and it was fine. Then I spilled my gut out for the next 12 minutes. And then suddenly all I see is this. Piss the hell out of me. Now, we begin again. Could you guys just get over this moving on and leave me alone so I don't have to make these videos? Don't have to deal with this microphone thingy. Okay, let me see if I can remember what the heck I was trying to say. Anyhow, the question is, why the hell you guys are so finding it so difficult to move on? Is it really that difficult? Because we're all reasonable people, at least we like to think so. And I do understand emotion is involved and all that. But we've covered all these things in the other videos as far as how we treat our desires, how we go after that, and so on and so forth, so forth. So here today, let's go a little bit deeper and find out, is it really difficult to move on from a bad relationship or a relationship that somehow didn't work out, whether you or your partner somehow mutually or one-sided, whatever the reason was? Is it really that difficult to understand that and value yourself and understand what it is that we are in this world to do, to build, to go on and advance, move away from negative situations rather than sticking to something that we damn well know it's not going anywhere and it's not healthy and we are not enjoying it, whether it's because we love the other person doesn't want us, or whether it's the other person is an asshole, or slut or idiot or whatever it is. Either way, we should be able to make the right decision based on what's happening and how we can make a good life, good experience out of this life that we have. So why don't we look at this way? Can we not simply look at things as they are? Like if I look at outside and see the weather, it is what it is, sunny, or if it's sunny, I would see it as sunny rather than thinking, oh, it's better than yesterday that it was raining. Or if it's raining, I wouldn't say, oh, it would be good if it was sunny, I would go play tennis or take a walk. Is it possible if it's stormy, I just see it as what it is, deal with that, observe it, rather than let an illusion of what it should be, in other words, meeting my day, or what the actuality of it is, with the past, or conjuring up with some idea that I want it to be rather than what it is. Would you think that would actually mask what my abilities and capabilities all are to function and be activated and use whatever it is to do whatever it is that I want to do, and instead I'm just not seeing the actuality and perceiving it by something in the past or something in the future, and therefore find myself paralyzed because I'm not seeing the real situation, but yet I want to do certain things, but I know it won't happen, but I'm not willing to let go of my perceptions because I'm thinking my perceptions are pleasant. And if I let them go, I won't have that with what the actuality is, yet I can't do anything with it either. So I'm in a limbo. And why do I prefer to be in limbo than face what it is and make a decision on it? Is it because I simply think that I have to keep the relationship because I want to belong, because that's a way for me to feel I exist? Isn't that why people join groups? So they could be considered that they're counted, that they exist in their own mind, because ever since they were a child or in the society or community they grew up, they've been conditioned to think that being alone is bad. To have a perfect and complete life, you should avoid being lonely or alone or isolated. And we've heard someone from the history, someone who did something bad, it was sent to exile. It was isolated. It ended up alone. When they want to punish someone, they put him in jail, alone. All these pictures have created this conditioning in us that being alone is bad. And to avoid it, we should avoid it at all costs, some of us think. Which, hence, you simply avoid moving on because you think that could mean I'm heading out to loneliness, to aloneness. Even though this situation is really not good, but at least it fulfills the conditioning that's been done on my psyche, that I'm not alone, I'm with a group. Isn't that why people join groups from the old times? To create security for themselves? That's how they thought. Let's join the other one so we'll have physical security. So they won't attack us. If they attack us, we're a group. And of course, the other ones, created a bigger group, and these ones created a bigger group, and defeated the whole purpose of the psychological security or the physical security. But they still continued. Now, today, that physical security is not necessary because we have systems and, supposedly we're civilized. But yet, we still think and we join groups in order to create the psychological security, to feel protected. Let's say you join a chess club, so you feel you're among a bunch like yourself, so you kind of multiply. You're now more than what you were, so you feel more secure. Or you're a lawyer, you join, you are supposed to join, and you're part of the bar association. Or you're a doctor, you have your own doctors association, and then you have your own policies and you have protection from the lawyers of the association for if any malpractice happens, or because of the knowledge they give you, you feel empowered, you feel you're part of the group, and the insurance that they provide and all that. So all of that gives you a certain kind of a psychological security because you're part of a group. So this being part of something has given you this illusion of that you now count, you now exist because you're part of something. If you're not part of something, you're alone, and being alone is not powerful. Yet, in reality, being alone has a different meaning. Alone stands for all one, right? We discussed that in some of the video a little bit. So that's why perhaps people who want to be not alone, they want to join the whole thing, not these little groups. So they go through meditation and they join the whole universe. They become one with the whole thing, become one with the actuality of whatever there is, which just can't be bigger than that. So they create that loneliness into completeness. So being alone, it's got tremendous power and wisdom in it. Is not being isolated. Being isolated is like being imprisoned. And that is totally different than being alone, which is being with the nature, being with the universe, which means being with the whole thing, all one, being part of the whole thing, being one with all, alone. And that is a very powerful thing. But yet we've been conditioned to think alone is a negative word, and we interpret it as if we are with somebody, then we are not isolated, we are not alone. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because I kind of do. However, So for that reason, you hang in tight with tooth and nail, so you won't be out of a group that you have created with this person, supposedly. You're more than one. You're with her or with him. So you feel good that you exist, you're counted because you're part of something. You don't consider yourself whole or interested or know to direct yourself toward becoming one with the whole nature. You think just being with somebody else is good enough to not to be alone. Yet that itself, two of you, is still be considered alone. Five of you can be considered alone. A whole town considered to be alone. Everything could be alone unless we can all understand that we are a fragment of the whole, and we can really cooperate, be one as one unit, meaning being at peace with what it is, whether we are in a certain group, so to speak, or not. We are all connected. We're never alone. Therefore, there is no reason for you to hang on to this one person, thinking that if you still keep this broken relationship or negative situation intact, then you're not alone. Yet, you're in a negative situation and you're constantly thinking to move on while you're thinking you're not alone. Why is it that you want to move on if you're happy to be where you are? Obviously, you're not happy to be where you are. So not being alone, being with that person is not really fulfilling, is not really being together with someone, because you feel more alone being with that person than being on your own and looking forward to another opportunity. Also, is it not maybe perhaps because you're hesitant to actually pull the tooth and move on, is because you feel that you should be more than what you are. Everybody supposedly feel that, and you've created this perfect life because they've told you for you to be complete, you have to have a perfect life. And perfect life is to have a perfect relationship, and perfect relationship means you have to have a perfect person. So you actually, in pursuit of this, created a perfect picture, perfect person out of this person, whatever it is, in your mind, conjured up so much good qualities to this person, totally dedicated yourself to that person, falling in love head over heels for that person in order to create that illusion of perfect life for yourself while you don't have the perfect material to create that perfect life, so to speak. In other words, you conjured up a certain qualities in this person in order to satisfy yourself that you are actually involved with a perfect person to create a perfect life. But it's all an illusion in your head. The danger with that is that you've created this illusion and you made yourself comfortable and psychologically secure and happy, yet for a long time you pretended this or went along with it, and you got used to this illusion to the point that you actually think this is not an illusion, this is actuality, and that person is perfect. And now that you see with your own eyes and feelings it's not working out, you're wondering, how can I get rid of this? Because I created it in myself and I now believe it is perfect. You create an illusion in order to meet a certain conditioning, to create a perfect life. You went on along with it, you fall in love with it, which is in fact you really fell in love with your own mind, with your own thoughts, the creation of your own thoughts in your own mind of this person, of this situation. So you're in love with that, it's part of you now. And then now you actually believe it's an actuality. And now you can't get rid of it. Why? Because how could you defy, in order to get rid of it, you got to defy what you created. How could you really defy something that you believe? Look at all the religions in the world that you believe in. It's hard to defy it because you've turned it into a belief. Now you've turned this situation, this person, this relationship to be a belief that is perfect, conjured up in your own mind, the brainchild of your own thoughts. And now in order to abandon it, you have to defy it. How could you defy something that you've come to believe in it as the whatever it is to believe in? So that's another problem that doesn't let you to move on, because now you got to defy yourself. And now you got to admit that you're not lovable because what you created in your mind, and you know it, that it is you who created it, now you got to not love it. You got to admit that it's not lovable. And that could somehow make you feel like you're not lovable because you were the one who created it. In fact, instead, if you simply look at this person for whatever he or she is and stop fooling yourself as having created a role of that person in your picture that you wanted to create for your life, the image that you have created, and admit that this character does not fit this picture, does not fit this role, I got to change the actor in order to make this show go on. Therefore, why don't I simply face the truth, the actuality, see it as it is instead of perceiving it with some conditioning that I've had ever since childhood, that a perfect life should have this kind of a person in it. Therefore, I created that kind of person in my own illusions, in my own thoughts. And now looking at this person, perceiving it, looking at this relationship, perceiving it, not really actually seeing it as what it is. Therefore, I put up with it because I've always been kind of covered in my eyes, not seeing what it is, but having an illusion. It's like having a movie running in front of my eyes rather than seeing the actual relationship that I've created all by myself. So if you see it as what it is, then the fact and the truth will set you free that, look, let's be honest, this is not really reality. I created that. I give all these credits to this person. It's like, you have a student in your classroom, if you're a teacher, or imagine if you are, and you give all the good grades to this person, and when it comes to test time, the person fails. And you say, whoa, how come? Well, because you gave all these grades to this person. So you gave all these grades, all these qualities to this person, but it really doesn't fit for the picture that you're trying to, have, the image of the life that you think you should be having. It doesn't fit. So if you see what it is, not perceive it with the past, which is a conditioning that you received, that this is how life should be, and you don't simply look at it by the eye of your fear, but with meeting the present situation with with the past, or with fear, the fear of being alone, fear of being isolated, fear of not complying with what you've been conditioned to strive for in life, the kind of a life being with someone and being a couple. Therefore, you're part of something. Therefore, you're counted. Otherwise, you think that if it's not, you're not counted by yourself. So go build something out of yourself. Make yourself the person who would create your own psychological security. Do not abandon your psychological security to a group or to this person and think that this person is responsible to give me psychological security, and therefore I have to stick with it no matter how bad it is, because I can always sugarcoat it and create a certain kind of a mask, make it look like as if it's good, so I can tolerate it, so I won't lose my psychological security, because then I'm not part of the group if I let it go, let her go, or let him go. So become independent of letting somebody else create your psychological security, or a group, or a relationship. See it as it is, not as what you've conjured up in your mind, meeting the present situation with the past according to your conditioning, or hoping that it will be something that it will never be because it doesn't have the credentials in the future, which the future is not here, because now is the only time that is reality. Now is everything. Is the past and is the future. So don't fool yourself in the now. Therefore, you will meet everything with what it is rather than with the past or with the hope of something else to become in the future. Don't hope for what it becomes if it doesn't have the credentials, and don't meet it with kind of an image that you've created in front of your eyes so you won't really see it what it is. See it as it is and make a decision that sense, and make sure that you hold yourself responsible for the psychological security that you're pursuing, and at the same time, don't fall for the fact that you should create a certain kind of a life as you have been conditioned to. Instead, build yourself, make yourself understand what it is that you should be, rather than looking for what you can be in somebody else's contribution to a relationship so you'll feel good about yourself. Therefore, you become independent, and you will not be constantly looking for somebody else to provide all these things for you. Perhaps this would be something for you to ponder and think about. I don't know what else I said in the other one that didn't work. I hope that would be at least something for you to think about and be able to move on with open eyes and understanding why you've been stuck, and you don't have to. Talk to you soon. Oh, you're still here. I think it didn't stop.